In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a large underground survival bunker in Minecraft. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I wanted to build something big for you all that will look amazing in your Minecraft world, so I've been working very hard to make this video, which you can probably tell by how long it is. The survival bunker includes a bedroom, a crafting and smelting room, lots of room for storage, an enchanting room with a nether portal, and a large farm room at the back with a mine entrance in there too. I really hope that you enjoy this video. As always, remember to leave any feedback or requests that you have in the comments section below, and if you enjoy the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We're going to start by building the entrance to the bunker. To do this, place 3 stone with a stair on top. After this, place an upside down stair with a slab on top and then make 2 blocks coming up using slabs as shown. After this, make another block using slabs half a block down, then repeat all of the steps that we did on the other side to create an arch. And this is what you should have so far. Now, 1 block in and in front of the stone arch, place 3 stone bricks with a stair on top. Add an upside down stair in front of this with a slab on top, and then create a block half a block up using slabs. Then repeat these steps coming back down to the other side to create a smaller arch in front of the larger stone arch that we made at the start. After this, add a block with a stair on top in front of the arches, matching the materials to the arch that you place in the block in front of. And here's what the 2 arches should now look like. Head in between the arches and replace the ground in between the stone bricks that we just placed with stone. Then start to remove the ground in front of this to create some stairs. After this, remove a few layers of the ground in front going up to the top of the stone arch. Make sure to also remove any ground at the sides in line with the stone brick arch. Then repeat this again for a couple more layers until you've got a bit of space to work in. You'll need to remove the 3 layers behind the stone arch. Now go to the back of the stone arch and place 2 polished andesite slabs coming out of the bottom half of the top block. If you touch the ground with these like I do, then remove another layer. Once you've done this, add an upside down polished andesite stair behind the 2 slabs that we just placed. This stair should touch the ground behind and marks the top part of the staircase. After this, add 3 upside down stone brick stairs along the side of the andesite, facing inwards and joining up to the stone arch. Do this on both sides as shown. Now that we've marked out where the roof of the staircase will end, we can start to dig out the rest of it. To do this, carry on digging down 1 set of blocks at a time to create a staircase. You'll also do this on the ceiling, coming down by a block each time after the andesite stair that we placed earlier. We also want the walls to be set back slightly from the staircase. As you can see, the walls at the sides are in line with the stone arch that we made at the start. Then there's a bit in front of this that's 1 block higher than the staircase, which is in line with the stone brick arch. For my base, I've dug down a total of 10 steps. This is to make sure that I had enough room to build underground without coming up to the surface. You can make your staircase longer or shorter than this if you'd prefer.
在海浪还有记忆时，带你去看海。在海水还是蓝色，在鱼群还没有消失，在珊瑚还没穿上白色寿衣前，带你去看海。珊瑚白化这个议题已经很久了，却没有因为很久而得到改善。我曾经到过缤纷色彩的珊瑚天堂，不到几年再去，时间。
For the actual stairs, I'm placing stone stairs on the sides with polished andesite stairs in the middle. If you've built everything correctly, the staircase should be 3 blocks across with a block on either side and then the main walls. Here's what it should look like from the player's point of view. Now head up to the top and we'll do the ceiling. Place upside down polished andesite stairs with stone brick stairs on either side, coming down by a block each time after the stair that we've already placed up there. If you've done 10 stairs going down, you'll only need to place 6 sets of stairs on the ceiling as we made the flat part at the top earlier and we'll have a large entrance leading into the bunker below. Now, next to each of the stone brick stairs that we've just placed on the ceiling, add a stone brick block, mimicking what we have below. Stop when you reach the top and remove any blocks that aren't stone from the main walls at the sides. So this would be any dirt, granite, diorite or any other blocks that weren't stone. We'll then replace these blocks with stone in the first 2 layers. Then fill in any gaps at the top with stone, including the space behind the stone brick stairs at the top of the ceiling. In the gap that we now have in the 3rd layer of the wall, fill this with a column of stripped dark oak logs going all the way to the top. This is the pattern we'll repeat going all the way down the staircase, so we'll have 2 layers of stone followed by a column of stripped dark oak logs. Here's what it should be looking like so far. Repeat this until you get to the bottom of the staircase. As I've done 10 steps, the final stripped dark oak column will line up nicely with the final stair. Here's what the walls look like with one side complete. Now we're going to replace the extra blocks that we have next to each of the steps with a stone brick block with a stone slab on top, as shown. Do this for all of the steps leading up to the top. Having this extra block on either side adds more detail and also makes the staircase feel a bit more spacious compared to having the tall walls right next to the stairs. Now repeat all of this on the other side. So we want 2 layers of stone and then a column of stripped dark oak logs on the 3rd layer. I've chosen to do this pattern to keep it simple leading into the bunker as the interior will be quite detailed. This pattern also saves on resources a bit as we'll be making use of the stone that's already in the walls. Once you've finished off the wall design, add some lighting by hanging lanterns from the stone brick blocks directly in front of each of the stripped dark oak columns. At the top column, add a stone brick slab on either side with a block in the middle and hang a lantern from that. Do this on both sides to make sure that the staircase is well lit. Now, once that's done, go back to the staircase and replace those blocks at the sides with a stone brick block with a stone slab on top, just like we did on the opposite side. The staircase is almost finished now, but it still looks a bit plain. To add a bit more detail, we can add some polished andesite blocks behind the stone slabs that we've placed down the sides of the stairs. Do this on both sides. This step is optional of course, and if you want you could even use another material here instead of polished andesite, it's up to you. I'm now going to add a second strip of polished andesite above this, starting 1 block above the top one and coming down diagonally. Do this in each of the stone sections between the stripped dark oak columns. As you can see here, I've made the gap between the bottom.
If you love building underground but are starting to run out of ideas, or simply want to learn a new style of building, then you've come to the right place. There's a bit of everything on this channel, so whether you're looking for an easy underground starter base to get you going, glass top tutorials start with the underground starter base. This is a small glass top underground house with farmland running around the outside of it. Inside the base, there's everything you'd need to get started and keep you going until you're ready to move on to something bigger. So at the front as you come in, there's some room for your crafting and smelting blocks to make the most of the space here. Opposite this, on the back wall, we have the beds, as well as a bit of extra storage and somewhere to display your armour and tools, which could also be replaced with chests if needed. On the left wall, we have the main storage area, which can always be increased further by turning the chests the other way. And on the final wall, there's a mine entrance. This could also be turned into extra storage if you wanted, and the mine entrance could be a simple trapdoor in the middle of the floor. So there we have the underground starter base. The full tutorial is linked in the description if you're interested in building this in your own world. Next up, we have the easy underground house. This is another small glass top house with a bit more farmland in each of its corners for you to grow your crops. Inside the base, I've tried to utilise the little space we have available the best I can, so you have everything that you need to get started in survival. So, in each of the corners, I've stacked up 4 barrels instead of adding a log, so you have extra storage space but it doesn't look cluttered. At the back, we have the bed, as well as some stacked double chests which can always be turned to face the other way. Then, on the left, we have some crafting blocks with space at the sides to add more if you needed to, and on the right we have some furnaces. Again, you can add more at the sides or even remove the shelf to add 2 extra below what we have here. And that's the tour of the easy underground house. Again, the link to the full tutorial is in the description. Now, if you've built these and find they're just too small, you can easily expand them by digging down where the ladder is and creating a second floor. You can then use this extra space to store more items or even add an enchanting setup, and since it's a lot lower down, you can make it as big as you'd like. Now the next step up from the starter bases is of course the larger glass top underground houses. So the third build I have to show you is the underground survival house. This build consists of a large entry room in the middle with a smaller room on each side of it and is fully equipped with everything that you'd need to keep on expanding after moving out of your starter base. So in each corner of the main room, there's extra furnaces and crafting blocks so you can quickly get what you need before heading back outside. Then on the back wall, we have a full level 30 enchanting setup with a brewing station next to it. In the room to the right, we have the bed, along with an ender chest, extra crafting and smelting blocks, and plenty of storage space on each side of the walls. And in the final room on the left, there's even more space for crafting and smelting, as well as some extra barrels for storage, and more stacked double chests on the left and right. Then, to really make the most of the space in here, I've added a small mine entrance at the top of the stairs leading into the base, so you can easily collect resources and find your way back home. So there we have the underground survival house, and yes, the entrance is fully secure so mobs can't wander in.
One of the greatest finals in League of Legends history.
Next up, we have the classic underground house, which is a lot simpler than the survival house, but a lot of you really loved it. So inside here, we just have the one main room with each segment containing the essentials that you need for survival. As you come in, you have a full level 30 enchanting setup on the left with a grindstone and some stacked double chests at the side. Across from this, we have the bed as well as an ender chest, somewhere to display your armour, and some more double chests next to this too. At the back on the left, there's a smelting area with a few barrels for extra storage, and on the right there's a crafting area, as well as a nether portal on the back wall, which can always be replaced with chests if you don't want a portal inside your house. And that's the underground house. Now, it's still quite small, but here's how you can easily expand it to fit your needs. Now, since we have flat areas on the sides, we can remove whatever we have there, then dig down and start creating another room. This can be as big as you like, and by digging down, it won't be seen from the surface. So here, as you can see, I've only dug out a small room, but it's tripled the storage capacity of the base. Since we have 3 sides that can be expanded into, you could add 3 extra storage rooms, or even a map room, a separate enchanting area, or even a space to trade with villagers. The possibilities are endless. And for this last section of the video, we're moving on to the bigger base designs, which will be perfect for late game survival. So, the 5th build I have for you is the hidden underground base. The entrance to this base is completely hidden within a small cave, activated by a piston door. As you come inside, you have the entry hall, which has extra storage and crafting areas in each of its corners. The first room on the right is the storage room. There's an ender chest and plenty of room for stacked double chests on each side, which can be turned the other way to double the amount of storage space. Then, at the back, we have a small crafting and smelting area with some barrels for extra storage. Opposite the storage room, we have the bedroom. In here, we have a bed, a nice cozy fireplace, a full enchanting setup, and plenty of extra storage in the remaining spaces within the walls. After that, opposite the entrance, we have the crafting room, which leads on to the farming room at the end. Along the walls are many crafting blocks, an area for smelting, a brewing station, plus lots of extra storage. On the shelves above them. Then I've made use of the table in the middle by adding in a couple of extra furnaces and a crafting table. Following on from this, we have the farming room. This room has a nicely sized plot of land where you can grow crops, a secure mine entrance on the right hand wall, along with smokers where you can cook your food, and even more storage. So if you're looking for a large base to build and haven't seen this one yet, I'd strongly recommend that you check it out. The link to the full tutorial is in the description. The next build I have to showcase is the secret underground base. Again, the entrance to this build is completely hidden, located behind a waterfall with a simple redstone door to give you access to the base. Once you go through, you'll find a spiral staircase leading down to the main room, with water in the middle so you can swim back up instead of running around in circles. In each corner of this room, I've added some extra crafting, smelting, and storage areas to make the base more convenient to use. Now, the first of the 4 rooms that we have in here is the farming room. Similar to the last base, we have a nice area to grow crops, as well as some extra storage in the walls. And on the right, there's a mine entrance with a small smelting station and storage next to this, so you can easily bring materials up and get them cooking while you mine. The next room is the crafting room. In here we have all of the main crafting and smelting blocks that you'd need, with plenty of extra space on the shelves to add more if you need to. Above them there's also extra storage which can be swapped out for more furnaces and crafting blocks too. The third room in here is the bedroom. In here we have a bed with a section on the back wall which has an ender chest as well as extra crafting blocks and storage. Then opposite this, we have a full enchanting setup with a brewing station to the side and a place to grow some nether warts. And the final room in the base is of course the storage room. Compared to the other bases, this storage room is very large and can fit many double chests inside of it. We also have an ender chest, places to display your armor, and even item frames to display your tools. Then the space in the middle is used to hold extra crafting blocks with some more barrels for storage. And that's the tour of the secret underground base. This is one of my favourite builds and I hope that you... To enter the bunker, more can be added in. There's a display where you can put along with some extra storage too. After that we have the storage room. In here is the side, so the room is much bigger than you. So now that you're dead, then I have an entire tutorial and smelting blocks that you'd need, with plenty of extra space on the shelves to add more if you need to. Above them there's also extra waterfall with a simple redstone door with water the base more convenient to use. Now, the first of the 4 rooms that we have in here is the farming room. Similar to the last base, we have a nice area to grow crops, as well as some extra storage in the walls. And on the right there's a mine entrance with a small smelting station and storage next to this, so you can easily bring materials up and get them cooking while you mine. The next room is the crafting room. In here we have all of the main crafting and smelting blocks that you'd need, with plenty of extra space on the shelves to add more if you need to. Above them there's also extra storage which easily there's a nice stone door to this give you onto the main room, with water in the middle so you can swim back up instead of running around in circles. In each corner of this room I've added some extra crafting, smelting and storage areas to make the base more convenient to use. Now, the first of the 4 rooms that we have in here is the farming room. Similar to the last base, we have a nice area to grow crops, as well as some extra storage in the walls. And on the right there's a mine entrance with a small smelting station and storage next to this, so you can easily bring materials up and get them cooking while you mine. The next room is the crafting room. In here we have all of the main crafting and smelting blocks that you'd need, with plenty of extra space on the shelves to add more if you need to. Above them there's also extra storage which can be swapped out for more furnaces and crafting blocks too. The third room in here is the bedroom. In here we have a bed with a section on the back wall which has an ender chest as well as extra crafting blocks and storage. Then opposite this, we have a full enchanting setup with a brewing station to the side and a place to grow some nether warts. And the final room in the base is of course the storage room. Compared to the other bases, this storage room is very large and can fit many double chests inside of it. We also have an ender chest, places to display your armor, and even item frames to display your tools. Then the space in the middle is used to hold extra crafting blocks with some more barrels for storage. And that's the tour of the secret underground base. This is one of my favourite builds and I hope that you like it too.
今天山宅不过不睡觉。
这边其实还蛮漂亮的，这个田。他会怎样发现我？哦，这个视野的范围内。
晨曦之国整体背景就是这种韩国的样子哦。
完了。他就一直笑，一直顺呢。
这个真是他新推出来的，让你单人可以练技术、打 BOSS 的地方，算是一个挑战自我的地方。我靠！
And finally, the biggest base I've ever built is of course the underground bunker. To enter the bunker, you go through a small stone archway in the side of a hill. Then a staircase will lead you down to the bunker itself.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another how to build tutorial. Into the directly behind the wall. Here we're going to add a piston door inside. So as a result of this, stepping onto the pressure plate will turn off the redstone torch. Head through the door and remove more blocks to be visible from underneath. Now, to the side of this, in the corner, add 3 dark oak planks at the top and bottom with spruce planks in between. These should be set out by 1 block from the oak logs that we just placed, just like this. Now, from the last plank at the bottom, leave a 1 block diagonal gap, then repeat this on the other wall. It should look like this. Fill in the gap in the corner with any block you like, then add a column of stripped dark oak logs to the diagonal gap that we left between the 2 sides. You should now have something that looks like this. Now repeat this in the next corner. So next to the oak log, add 3 dark oak planks at the top and bottom with spruce planks in the middle. To make it a bit easier, you can mark out where the column will go first, then fill in the corner and add the next set of planks like I'm doing here. All of these corner sections are exactly the same, so if you ever get stuck, just look back at what you've already built and copy it. As long as you got the measurements of the room correct when it was dug out, it should all line up. Now onto the next side, come across from the centre column to find the middle block. Then dig out the 7 block wide by 5 block high area in the wall, the same as we did on the other side. I wanted a bit of variation between the walls, so for the logs on this side, use stripped spruce logs instead of oak logs. Now repeat the same corner design that we did on the other side. Like I said earlier, all of the corners will be exactly the same. Now, for the next side, mark out the 7 by 5 block area in the middle of the wall again. Because I'm directly opposite the side that I used the oak logs on, I'm going to use oak logs here too. To create a bit of variation between the different sides of the base, I've used 2 styles. The walls opposite each other will have the same style, which is why I've used oak logs here, and for the next side I'll be using stripped spruce logs again, the same as the side opposite that. Fill in the corner here in the same way that we've done the rest, and then there's just 1 more entry left to mark out. If you didn't know already, I've started uploading short time lapses and tutorials to TikTok every day. So if you're waiting for me to upload a new video and want to see more content, then head over to my TikTok where you can find a variety of small builds. The link is in the description if you're interested. On the final side, dig out the 7 by 5 block area one last time. Like I mentioned earlier, because this side is opposite the side that we used stripped spruce logs on, we'll also be placing stripped spruce logs on either side here. Now that all of the corners and sides have been done, the room should look like this. We're now going to work on the middle. Head over to the staircase and place a stripped spruce log 1 block diagonally away from the corner step, just like this. Do this on all 4 sides of the staircase, so a 1 block diagonal gap between the step and the stripped spruce log. If the step is too high up, like it is here, just count 2 diagonal blocks away from the central column. To check it's in the right place, see if it lines up with the log next to it. If not, you'll have to move it. Add the final log and you should now have this square shape marked out around the staircase in the middle of the room. When you've got all 4 corners marked out, add another 4 stripped spruce logs on top of each of them, making them 5 blocks high in total. This should create 4 stripped spruce columns that touch the ceiling. Now that everything's marked out, remove 1 more layer from the ceiling, making the room 6 blocks high in total. Make sure to follow the shape of the room that we now have, so you don't have to remove the blocks directly above the corner planks, but you should remove the blocks above the spruce columns in the centre. Once you've done that, we need to remove one more layer from the ceiling, but this time we'll be leaving a 2-block border around the outside of the room, just like this. So on every part of the walls, count 2 blocks away, then remove the blocks after this. This will also follow the shape of the room that we now have. I'll show some images shortly that will display what I mean by this to make it clearer for you. Make sure to remove all of the blocks surrounding the staircase in the centre too, so the staircase is exposed. Here's what the border should look like on the sides of the walls. And here's what it should look like on the corners. The rest of the ceiling is removed after this border. Now that's done, add an extra stripped spruce log on top of each of the columns, making them 6 blocks high in total. After that, dig out the space between the columns as shown, so it sticks out by a block in between. Dig out this shape between all of the columns and then dig out the area in the middle, including the blocks below and surrounding the staircase. So you should now have something that looks like this.
Google Play 游戏。
接下来玩的那个《异域战记》呢，我们今天要用特别的方式来玩，用电脑来玩手游。
Google Play 游戏它就是可以用大荧幕去游玩，直接在电脑上这样子玩，所以就会有更好的视觉体验效果。这种东西用讲都没用，直接玩给你们看，
让大家看一下游戏画面长怎样。这就是我的大厅画面。我就问，除了男主角还有没有男角色？有，他不是。
Once that's done, place stone brick stairs facing inwards following the shape of the gap, as shown. Do this all the way around. It should now look like this. Now, in the rest of the space, add some polished andesite slabs in a checkerboard pattern, just like this. Do this throughout the whole middle section, making sure that the pattern lines up properly all the way around. Because we lowered the floor here, the last steps will probably be floating. To fix this, add some extra smooth stone slabs coming down to continue the staircase to the bottom, just like this. Then carry on with the checkerboard pattern. To finish this off, add stone slabs to all of the gaps to fill in the floor here. The middle of the room should now look like this. Now we can finally remove the column in the centre. So start removing it from the bottom up. Where the column was, at the bottom, dig down by a block and replace the surrounding blocks with stone if they aren't already. Then replace the bottom block with a shroom light or another light block of choice, just like this. After that, head up the staircase and carry on removing the middle column until you reach the top. At the top, do the same as we did at the bottom. So dig up by 2 blocks and place a light block of your choice at the top, making sure it's surrounded with stone. Once you've done that, place some water in the gap at the top and it should flow all the way down through the middle of the staircase and into the gap at the bottom, just like this. You can now use this water as a way to get up or down the stairs a bit faster if you'd prefer to do it that way. Now, back to the floor, remove a 1-block border surrounding the middle section, as shown. This should be a solid border so it all lines up properly, just like this. Continue this border around the whole of the middle section. Once it's all dug out, it should look like this. Now fill this border in with stone bricks. And here's what the middle of the room should now look like. Now turn around to face the walls and start removing a 1-block border around the outside of the room, the same as what we've just done. This border will go in front of all of the wall sections and between the logs that mark out the entrances into the rooms. So it should look like this once you're done. Now, just like with the other border, we're going to fill this in with stone bricks, going all the way around the outside of the room. Here's what the room should now look like. To finish off the floor, we're just going to add some andesite to the stone that's been left in between the two stone brick borders to add a bit of texture to it. If you have any other blocks present, like dirt, granite or diorite, then replace these with stone or andesite. The andesite will be placed in a random pattern here, so don't worry about getting it exactly the same as mine. And that's the floor finished for this room. We're now going to work on the ceiling. To start, add a border of dark oak planks going around the outside of the room, directly below the stone that we left at the top of the entrances and in front of the stone that we left in the corner parts. Don't add extra blocks in the corners here. We're going to join all of this up with stairs in the next step. Keep adding the dark oak planks around the whole room until you meet up with the other side. The border should now look like this. Once you've done that, add a border of upside down dark oak stairs directly in front of the dark oak planks that we've just added, going all the way around the room. When you get to the corners, add an extra stair so they're able to turn to create a solid border. When you're adding these stairs, expect to see some gaps above them. This is okay, we'll be filling these in the next step. When you've added all of the upside down stairs around the room, it should look like this. Now, in the gaps that I mentioned above the stairs, fill them in with any block that you like. I'm using stone, but if you have a lot of cobblestone, then you can use that instead. When all of the gaps are filled in, the ceiling should look like this. Now, for the next part, add a border of spruce planks going around the room. These spruce planks should be one block above the dark oak planks that we added first. Again, for this layer, we aren't adding the extra blocks in the corners. We'll add this when we add the stairs next. Now, just like we did for the dark oak border, add a border of upside down spruce stairs directly in front of the spruce planks that we've just placed, going all the way around. At each corner, add an extra stair so that they're able to turn to create a smooth border. With the spruce border now complete, here's what the ceiling should look like. To finish the final part in the middle, head up there and remove all of the blocks that are there surrounding the staircase. For me, it's mostly stone and andesite. Once you've done that, add a border of dark oak planks around the outside, just like we did for the layers below. And in front of these planks, add a border of upside down dark oak stairs. When you get to the last few stairs, make sure that they all line up properly, so the border's smooth all the way around. Once you've done that, add an extra stripped spruce log on top of the columns so they join up to the dark oak planks as shown. Then add an extra dark oak slab to the gaps that we have left at the top to finish off the ceiling. Now we're going to add the details to the middle columns. So to do this, add 2 spruce stairs at the bottom of the column pointing outwards as shown. Then do the same at the top, but this time using upside down spruce stairs. As you can see, there's now a gap at the top between the 2 stairs. To fix this, replace the upside down stairs from the ceiling with spruce planks above and between where the stairs will be at the top of the column as shown. To make it look a bit neater at the top, make the spruce stair turn inwards like this, so it looks a bit more complete. Now repeat everything that we've just done for the next 3 columns. So replace the stairs at the top again with spruce planks. Then add the upside down stairs at the top as shown and turn the stairs in on either side above this to finish off the top part. Finally, add the stairs on either side at the bottom, then move on to the 2 remaining columns. They're all exactly the same. If you're enjoying the video, then I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already if you'd like to see more content like this. Also, feel free to leave any build requests in the comments section below. I have a list of all of the requests that I've received and I try to get through as many as I can. So if you'd like to see me build something, then make sure to leave a comment below. Once all of the extra stairs have been added to the columns, they should look like this. We're now going to add some arches in between them for some extra detail. So, to start on the arches, add an upside down spruce stair on each side between the columns that's one block below the upside down stair at the top, just like this. After that, add a slab on top of the stair followed by 2 blocks coming up as shown. On the other side, add a slab followed by 1 block coming up to complete the arch. It should look like this. For some extra detail, add some spruce trapdoors below each of the upside down spruce stairs. The finished arch design should now look like this. We're now going to repeat this 3 more times for the 3 remaining spaces. They're all exactly the same. So, to do this, make sure you've placed the first upside down stairs 1 block below the ones we've already got at the top. Then add the slabs following the graphic on screen to create the arches. Add the spruce trapdoors below the upside down stairs to finish it off. Then do this for the remaining spaces to finish off the middle section of the base. When all of the arches are in place, it's time to add some lighting. To do this, come inside the middle section and add a spruce slab to the corner, making sure it's placed on the bottom half of the block so you can hang a lantern from it like this. Do this in all 4 corners. If you're struggling to hang a lantern from the slab, just add a plank here instead and hang a lantern from that. Here's what it should look like with the lanterns added. Now, to light up the corners, add an upside down dark oak stair to the top on each side of the stripped dark oak column like this. After that, replace the stair in the ceiling that's between these with a dark oak plank and hang a chain with a lantern from it. Do this in all 4 corners. So, for the next corner, 2 upside down dark oak stairs at the top on each side. Replace the stair in the ceiling with a plank and hang a chain with a lantern from it. Also, make sure to start removing any torches that you might have placed down as we won't be needing these for much longer. Add the lighting to the last 2 corners, they're all the same. Now, to make sure that there's a high light level throughout the room, I'm going to remove the middle block in the floor on each side in front of the entrances and add a torch with a light grey carpet on top, just like this. Repeat this on all sides of the room. Placing a torch with carpet on top like this still allows the light to pass through and blends into the floor quite well, making it a great way to add some extra hidden lighting to your builds. And that's the main room completed. Now we need to finish off the design for the staircase.
这是你？等等，不对，这才是你。你想征服阿尔比恩的世界吗？好吧，你得做这些事。制作一柄。
So, to do this, head up the staircase until you start to see the stone. We're going to remove all of the stone from the walls up here, going all the way up to the top. You can leave the corner pieces in place though, as these will be covered up. Once you've removed all of the stone on each side of the staircase, you should have a 3-block wide gap on each side going up to the top. To fill this in, I'm adding oak logs going up on the left and right with stripped spruce logs in the middle. I've tried to keep this part quite simple as it won't really be seen that much and it's quite hard to film in such a tight space, so sorry if the angles are a bit bad here. When you get to the very first step, the log will just be placed underneath this. Carry on adding the logs to the rest of the walls, going up to the very top to fill it all in. When all of the logs are added, it should look like this. Again, sorry for the bad angles. I missed a few blocks at the top here, so I'm just filling those in to make sure that the logs go right to the top. Now, for the stones surrounding the water, carefully remove them and replace with upside down spruce stairs going all the way around as shown. If it's easier for you, you can remove the water while you do this, just take care not to fall down the gap. The staircase should now look like this. I'll insert a clip shortly showing this from a better angle. Now, on top of the first step, place a spruce trapdoor to mark out the entrance into the base. To add a bit more light to the staircase, head down to around the middle and remove one of the logs. Replace the stone behind it with the log that you just removed and add a lantern to the gap. And that's the entrance and the main room of the secret base completed. We can now start work on the 4 rooms. Here's a better angle of the staircase to show the stairs that we added at the top. Now it's time to start work on the first room, which will be the bedroom. To start this, come to one of the stripped spruce entrances and remove the stone between the columns and also come down by 1 block, as shown. So you have a 5 block wide by 6 block high section. After you've done that, start digging out the room to the sides and back, following the floor plan. So dig out a few more layers from the back wall to give yourself some more room to work in. On the front wall, you'll want to dig across 3 blocks past the stripped spruce logs and 1 back, so you can see the dark oak and spruce planks from the main room. You'll then need to leave a stone column in the corner and mark out a 4 block wide by 6 block high section on the side wall. I'll show a diagram of this in the next clip. Here's the front wall, showing the 3 block wide by 6 block high gaps. And here's the side wall, showing the 4 block wide by 6 block high gap. Now keep digging back to create the next 4 block wide gap on the left wall. The right will go straight across. On the left, the gaps will have a stone column in between them, which is displayed on the floor plan, and I'll also show in a diagram shortly. For the back wall, come back by 1 more block, then dig out 2 5 block wide sections as shown. Here's the 2 3 block wide gaps on the front wall. The 2 4 block wide gaps on the left wall. The 2 5 block wide gaps on the back wall. And finally, the right wall, which goes straight across. Here's what the room should now look like. We're now going to start filling in the walls. To start, come to the front and add a stripped spruce column on the 3rd block across, next to the stone column as shown. This should be 6 blocks tall. After that, add an extra log at the bottom of the column at the entrance. Then add another stripped spruce column in front of the middle stone column, and finally one in the in the corner too, as shown. You should now have something that looks like this. Keep adding the stripped spruce columns to the spaces marked out around the rest of the room, so one in the middle and on the other side of the back wall. And finally, one more at the front with the extra log at the bottom of the entry column. Once you've got the log columns in place, come to the front and add another 2 dark oak planks to the bottom of the wall section, as shown. Do this on both sides. After that, add some stone brick stairs in front of the entrance to create a step into the room. Turn the stairs in on each side so that they curve around. The front wall should now look like this. For the left wall, add spruce planks across the top and bottom and fill the middle in with oak planks. The style of the walls in the rest of the room will be different to the front wall. This is just because the front wall shares the blocks from the walls in the main room. Otherwise, we would have had to make the doorway to this room 2 blocks thick. For the next gap, do the same again. So spruce planks across the top and bottom with oak in between. This will be the style for the walls in this room. So carry on filling in all of the gaps following this style. The only difference is that the gaps in the back wall are 1 block bigger and the right wall goes straight across. Now that the walls are done, we're going to add some arches in between the logs. So, starting on the left wall, add an upside down spruce stair 1 block below the top on each side like this. After that, add a slab on top of them with 2 blocks in between to create the arch. Now do the same in the next gap. You can follow the graphic on screen if you need it. Here's what the left wall should look like with both of the arches in place. Now for the back wall, add the upside down spruce stairs again on each side. Add a slab on top followed by a block. Then add a slab next to this and repeat down to the next side to create this slightly larger arch. Repeat in the next gap. Again, there's a graphic on screen if you need it. And here's what the back wall should look like with both of the arches in place. Now, for lighting, add a spruce stair at the top of the middle column and hang a lantern from it, as shown. Do this on both the left wall and the back wall. On the right wall, in the centre, add 2 stripped spruce logs coming down from the top, just like this. On each side of these logs, create the 4 block wide arches again, exactly the same as the arches on the left wall that's opposite. The right wall should now look like this. Now add an upside down stair below the logs with another at the top and hang a lantern, so you have something that looks like this. After you've done all of that, remove an extra layer from the ceiling. When you get to the parts above the arches and the columns, just leave the stone blocks in place as these won't be seen and it'll save on resources a bit. When the ceiling's removed, it should look like this. Now we need to add a border of spruce planks around the entire room. These spruce planks will fill in all of the gaps that were left above the arches and will also go in front of the stone that we left too, just like this. Keep going with this border around the entire room. At the front, the spruce planks will go between the logs with another row in front to join up with the rest. You should now have a rectangular border around the room that looks like this. Once you've done that, add an extra spruce plank in each corner. Then add a border of upside down spruce stairs in front of the planks, going all the way around as shown. Just like in the main room, these stairs should create a smooth border going all the way around with no gaps. Here's what it should look like when all of the stairs are in place. Now remove all of the blocks from the centre of the ceiling and replace with oak planks. The ceiling should now look like this. For some extra lighting and decoration, add a shroom light or another light block of choice in the middle of the ceiling. Then surround the light block with upside down oak stairs, as shown. Finally, add an oak trapdoor to the bottom to cover it up, but still allow the light to pass through. Now, on the front wall, add 2 upside-down spruce stairs between the logs, just below the dark oak planks. After that, create the 5-block wide arch in the gap between the logs in the entrance. This arch is the same as the arches on the back wall. After you've built the arch, add a spruce trapdoor below the upside-down stair on each side like this. Finally, add a spruce stair at the top of the column with a lantern hanging from it. Do this on both sides. Now, for the floor, add sideways facing oak logs between the stripped spruce logs that make up the columns in the walls. Do this all the way around the room. So you should now have something that looks like this. For the rest of the floor, remove blocks in a random pattern all over it. If you have any blocks that aren't stone or andesite, make sure to remove these too. Once you've removed most of the blocks in a random pattern, fill them in with a mix of stone bricks, cobblestone and andesite to create a textured stone floor. We're going to use this stone floor design in all of the rooms. Make sure that all of the blocks are randomly placed. If you see any big chunks where all of the blocks are the same, try to split it up a bit. Here's what the finished stone floor design should look like. We can now start work on the interior of the room. So, to start this, head over to the right-hand wall. 2 blocks away from the column, add 3 stripped spruce logs with a spruce slab on top, just like this. Then do the same on the other side too. After that, add 2 sets of 3 spruce planks between the logs, with 1 extra at the front in the middle. Then surround these planks with spruce stairs as shown. You should now have this small platform. Between the logs, add 3 more spruce planks with a spruce slab on top of the middle one. Then add a bed to the middle. Add a spruce slab on either side of the bed and then add a flower pot with any flower you like in it and a lantern on top of the planks behind for decoration. On either side of this, next to the logs, add a cauldron with 2 leaf blocks on top to create a plant. You could also use a composter instead of a cauldron if you'd prefer. To the gap in the front wall, add a couple of spruce slabs to create a shelf at the bottom and add a lantern and a chest for decoration. On the back wall, on the right-hand side, create a shelf here too using spruce slabs again. Then leave a gap and create another shelf above this, making sure that they're both placed on the top half of the block. On the top shelf, add some double chests with an ender chest in the middle. On the bottom shelf, add a few crafting blocks that you'll use frequently. I've placed a grindstone, a crafting table, a chest, a furnace and a stone cutter, but you can use any that you like. Then add a lantern to the corner for a bit of extra light here. In the next corner, on the left-hand side, create an enchanting area. I've placed more bookshelves than you actually need for extra decoration. If you don't want to use this many, then just place the ones that you need to get the level 30 enchantments. The way I've set up the bookshelves definitely gives you level 30. Add the enchanting table to the middle and then add spruce slabs to the bookshelves in the corner for detail. After that, directly above the enchanting table, add a couple of chains hanging from the ceiling with a lantern to finish it off. In the last corner, add 2 sets of shelves again using spruce slabs placed on the top half of the block. Replace the last shelf on the bottom row with a cauldron and fill it with water. Now, on the bottom shelf, add a couple of brewing stands, as this will be the brewing station. On the top shelf, add a couple of barrels for storage. Then decorate using some item frames and a flower pot. You can put anything you like in these. I've just added some potion bottles to the item frames and a mushroom in the flower pot. In the gap in the front wall, place 2 soul sand and add 2 dark oak trapdoors on the front to create a planter. Now plant some nether warts, which you can then use for your potions. Now, just like I did in the main room, I'm going to remove a couple of blocks from the floor where the light level might be low and add a torch with a light grey carpet on top to make sure that no mobs can spawn in here. Now that the bedroom's completed, we can start work on the storage room. This room will be located where we have oak logs at the entrance, so head over to the oak logs and start digging out the room. This will be pretty much the same as the bedroom. The only difference here is that the right wall will also have the 2 4-block gaps. So, at the front we'll have a 3-block gap on each side, showing the dark oak and spruce planks from the main room. On the left and right walls we'll have 2 4-block wide gaps with a stone column in between. And on the back wall we'll have 2 5-block wide gaps. Now on the front wall, add the extra log at the bottom of the log in the entrance and the oak log column at the side. Then repeat this on the other side too. The front wall should now look like this. Now add the oak log columns to the left wall, in front of the stone and in the corner, just like we did in the bedroom. After that, to fill in the walls, add dark oak planks across the top and bottom with spruce planks in between. Make sure to add the extra dark oak planks on the front wall too. This will be the style for the rooms that have oak logs at the entrance. Now fill in all of the remaining walls in this style. So oak log columns in front of the stone and in the corners, with dark oak planks across the top and bottom and spruce planks in the middle. When you've filled in all of the walls, it's time to add the arches to the tops of them again. Starting at the front, add the 2 upside down spruce stairs just below the dark oak planks. On the left wall, add the 4-block wide arches following the graphic on screen. The first stairs should be placed just below the dark oak planks. This is exactly the same as what we did in the bedroom. On the back wall, add the 2 5-block wide arches, again following the graphic on screen. And finally, on the right wall, add the 2 4-block wide arches, exactly the same as the wall opposite. When all of the arches are in place, the room should look like this. Now we need to remove one layer from the ceiling. Again, we can leave the blocks directly